Hi, Melissa here. Today we're going to look at something that is often overlooked in English but is equally as important as grammar, and that is the context and expression. Here's the thing. When we speak, the words that we use might be grammatically correct, but if we use them in the wrong context, those words have the potential to send the wrong message to the listener. This is one of those hidden rules that advanced and fluent speakers are able to pick up on immediately, but learners often miss without realizing. So, to test that, today we're going to look at one of the scenarios that I set for you in your quiz. In this scenario, you bump into a colleague you've worked with for 2 years at the office and you say, A, nice to meet you, B, nice to see you, or C, it's good to see you again. All these three are grammatically correct, but all of them don't mean the same thing. So let's start by looking at the first one. Nice to meet you. First and foremost, this is the wrong statement to use. However, we've all had moments where we've actually slipped up when it comes to context and expression. Here's the thing. We sometimes think we're being polite, but the words that we actually use might land the wrong way. Imagine for yourself, you've been working with this person for 2 years and they turn around and say to you, nice to meet you. How would you feel? Invisible? Forgettable? Your face is not something this person could actually remember? Truth be told, I'm actually guilty of this. I've ever done this before. Something about me, when it comes to memory and remembering people, I'm very good at remembering the stories as well as the conversations I have with them and the context under which I have them, as opposed to remembering their faces and names. So on this particular day, my friend and I were walking around the mall and we bumped into one of her friends. Let's call him Peter. And so my friend went ahead and did the social graces and introduced us to each other. And I smile politely and I say to him, nice to meet you. Unbeknownst to me, I had actually been introduced to this man at one of our parties, but I never had a conversation with him. So on this particular day, he looked me dead in the eye and said, we've met before. And I was thinking, oops, that was a slip up. And the worst thing is, to this day, I actually don't remember his face and I don't remember his name, but I remember the conversation and the context under which we had this conversation. This is one of those dangers of saying the wrong expression in the wrong context. B, nice to see you. Now, this expression is much safer and much better because when you say nice to see you, what you're inadvertently conveying to the other person is that I do recognize your face and I do acknowledge the fact that our paths have crossed before. This statement is a bit more common and generic. However, it goes a long way in making a person feel acknowledged and seen. This last one, it's good to see you again, is perfect. It lands beautifully. Because when you say it's good to see you again, what you're saying is that I remember you, I recognize your face. And then you're saying I'm also very happy to reconnect with you. By adding good and again, you've added warmth to the statement. And what this leaves the person feeling is that they are valued and they are remembered. Okay, guys, so those are my three explanations for those three answers. Don't mind the lighting. I'm sure you've noticed the lighting has changed. That's because it's getting dark and I had to stop to teach a client. But now I'm back and I just want to finalize this recording. So, with regards to those three questions, this was a focus on context and expression. And context and expressions are the hidden rules that we use when it comes to making sure that your words that you're using land. When we talk about context, what does that mean? Context has to do with the situation, the relationship, as well as the background in which you're using those words. So, who are you speaking to? What is your relationship with this person? When and where did you meet them? And what was the context under which you were speaking before you started speaking to this person? Therefore, when it comes to context, saying nice to meet you to somebody you just met is excellent. But saying nice to meet you to somebody you've known for 2 years, that's the wrong context because it shows that A, you forgot the person, or B, you were not paying attention to them at all. And expression. When we talk about expression, we're talking about the words as well as the tone that you use when you're speaking to somebody. So basically, you should think of it as, am I going to speak casually or am I going to speak formally? Are the words I'm using, are they going to add a bit of warmth or are they going to create distance? The phrases I decide to use, what type of emotions are they going to bring out of somebody? So saying something like it's nice to see you is a good phrase, but saying it is so good to see you again adds a bit of warmth as well as recognition. Both those statements are 100% correct, grammatically correct, but depending on the context, the expression you use and the context in which you use them, the meaning will change completely. So with that being said, the next time that you speak, I would like you to think about not only is my grammar correct, you should also think about is the expression I've selected the correct one in this context. This is the difference between somebody sounding awkward and sounding natural. And this is the type of hidden language we'll be discussing in the online lectures. With that being said, which of these three would you choose? A, B, or C? I'll see you next time.